Hello everyone and welcome to this part 2 session of the project invoice proposals created from ProJobs in conjunction with subscription management application LISA. So today it is myself, Tyron and Francesca here. So we're going to go through the part of project contracts all the way to creating the invoice proposal and capturing timesheet entries and eventually invoicing these within the LISA application. So I leave it up to you, Francesca, to start with the invoicing part or the invoicing creation of project contract.
Thank you, Tyron. So as we can see here, we are on the My Project contract view, and if we go in this project contract, on the contract line, we can see the contract line that we created. So if we check this here, we can create an invoice. Previously, there were time entries that were approved already, and which we will see from here. So after this is done processing, we can see the invoice and also having the total of the total amount that will be invoiced. Okay. So as we can see here, the total amount is 3,200. So we process the business process flow and click on finish so that it indicates that this invoice can be sent to the customer. And now we confirm the invoice, which will then be directed to the invoicing screen. Okay, and as we can see here, the invoice has been confirmed. The project invoice status has been set to confirm. Leave it to you now.
Okay, so thank you very much, Francesca. So here we have a project invoice proposal created on ProJobs with status confirmed, and as Francesca was clearly indicating, the amount of 3,200 USD is exactly what we need, and this is basically resulting from a 32-hour time entry at a cost of 100 USD per hour, which can be seen by clicking on over here. Here we can see all these time entries as we were discussing earlier. Okay, if I scroll to the right here, I should be able to see 8, 16 and 8 amounting to 32 hours at 100 USD each. Okay, so let's go a step backwards here. And strictly speaking, from project operations, we can say that this part is closed because now this project invoice proposal has been already transferred all the way to finance and operations. Okay, so if I open here a new tab and go on our demo environment here, I can change the company to USPI directly, because that's the company we're using for this demonstration. And from here, once I go into my project management module here, we can go to project invoice proposals, and we should be able to find our invoice proposal here, which ends in Y1W7D8, okay, at 3,200 USD, and the status open. If I click on this invoice proposal on FinOps, I can see my invoice header details here, which is the same coming from ProJobs, together with the timesheet entries of the resource. And if we scroll to the right here, we can see the actions comment column, which is a custom column coming from the subscription management app LISA. So as we can see here, we have two entries which have a sales price of 0. Okay, even though we saw on project ops a sales price of 100 each, and one of the entries is a sales price of 100 USD. If I scroll to the right further, I have here an actions comment. This action is coming from the subscription management app LISA. If you remember from part 1 of the video, we had an action created for the customer entitlement of 40 hours. So essentially these two entries here were what we call zeroized, so that the sales price was zeroized and the line amount equals 0. Okay, because these were in January as per the customer entitlement spanning from 1st of January all the way to 1st of April. The other entry, which is 31st of December 2018, which is exactly started before the customer actually bought the package from us, was not zeroized because of course this is in a different period. Okay, so this was chargeable to the customer 8 hours at 100 USD, which is 800 total amount. So essentially, if I go to see the totals of this invoice, I have here that the invoiced amount is only 800 and not 3200. Okay, because the customer was entitled those amount of hours and the amount was reduced. Okay, so if I now post this invoice, click here and press OK, the customer is now charged 800 USD. Okay, so going forward, this invoice has been posted now, and if I take you a quick view of the subscription management application, if you go here and find subscription management cockpit, okay, we can find our sunset customer, sunset wholesales, which is this one. So this is the subscription plan which was created yesterday, if you recall, on our part 1 video. And if I scroll downwards towards the actions, the firmed actions that I have here, I have the project hours entitlement, which basically reference the 40-hour package that the customer had bought, which span from 1st of January all the way to the 31st of March, right? And if you can see here, the gross amount is 40 hours, and now the remaining net amount balance is 16 hours, which basically is, of course, 24 hours that we posted in our invoice, which is of course 8 plus 16 hours of those two entries. The remaining is 16. So essentially, if we do an invoice proposal from ProJobs, again now I will ask Francesca to do it, of more than those 16 hours for January, you will see that that this action here will be completely used up, so it will be transferred to the historical tab, and the difference on the hours will be invoiced to the customer. So if the customer uses up, for example, an additional 24 hours in January or in February, because this will span up to March, the additional 8 hours will be chargeable to the client as well this time. Okay, so shall I leave it up to you, Francesca, to do another invoice proposal, please? Let's switch back to ProJobs here.
So thank you, Adrian. As you can see from the project contract here, let's refresh. On the contract lines, we have another line here. Create an invoice, and as you can see, this has already been created. And if we go on invoices and find our invoice, we can confirm it. Here we can see that the total amount is of 1,200, and it's still in draft stage. If we go in details here, the 1,1200 means that the client has been charged 12 hours. And if we go back, we can confirm the invoice. And we can also process the business process flow as well, so that this is marked as sent to the customer. Here we have confirmed that this has been confirmed, the invoice has been confirmed, and it has been sent.
Thank you, Francesca. So with this 12 hours, let's go back to our project invoice proposal screen. And with this 12 hours, which is actually less than the 16 hours which we have available, we'll expect that the remaining balance is 4 hours. Okay, so if we scroll down to the very bottom, we have this last invoice proposal here of 1,200 USD. Very good. If we open up this proposal, which is coming from ProJobs, we can see the transaction that Francesca successfully posted with the 12 hours timesheet entry. And as you can see, all of this has been zeroized completely. The reason is, of course, because 12 is less than 16, so hence the customer has nothing to pay for this invoice, of course, because he used up 12 hours from his balance of 16. Right, so we can go ahead and check the totals. Everything is zero, and we can post it, of course, but because it's a zero invoice, we don't send it to the customer. Just post it for reference purpose, and so that the accounting system will be updated successfully. And we will, of course, with the help of the posting, update LISA itself. If I go here to my cockpit, update LISA itself, so that the remaining amount of hours on the customer entitlement is now updated to the remaining 4 hours. We go to sunset. We can successfully see here, under the actions firmed, a remaining balance of 4 hours. Once this is completely consumed, this action will be transferred to the historical tab. Okay, so over here we are seeing the full process on part 1 and part 2 of how to successfully use ProJobs in conjunction with subscription management app LISA on FinOps, and to successfully invoice the customer the initial amount of purchasing the subscription from you, and going forward also invoicing the customer any difference in hours used from the purchase package. Thank you very much for your attention.